Hi, everybody. It's Mary Adams from Life School 101 TV, and we are so grateful to be here with you today. We have a fabulous guest lined up, and I am here with my co-host and executive producer of the show, Linda Carbino. Hi, Linda.
Hi, everybody. I'm here. Hi, Andrew.
I am so excited.
Hi.
I am so excited to introduce Andrew to the show. He wrote this incredible book, Andrew Safer, Anxiety, Stress, and Mindfulness. And I have been spending the last week diving into this book, which not only is a very deep book about how we become full of anxiety and stress, but also what we do about it. And this is a very comprehensive guide. This is suggested as a read by many psychologists and psychiatrists out there working in the field. And so I really invite you to take an opportunity to purchase this book. Andrew, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Mary. It's a pleasure to be here.
Andrew, I had a question. Just wanted to say it's important to me too, because mindfulness is something that took me a long time to learn. A long time, because I couldn't just quiet myself. It was really hard for me. And when you get into stressful or anxiety or whatever, that's when mindfulness can come into handy. But first, we got to learn how to do it. And it's really hard for a lot of people. I know it was really hard for me to start doing that.
Yeah, well, you just mentioned, Linda, about, I don't remember if you used the word clear your mind, but you said something in the beginning there. Do you remember the wording?
Stopping. Mindfulness. Being mindful.
Okay, so there is I guess it's a misconception about mindfulness and meditation that we're supposed to be calm and we're supposed to be relaxed and peaceful. And when we're not like that, we feel like we're doing it wrong, and we start to beat up on ourselves and so on. And so that's an obstacle, and I think it's extremely common. I'm here to say that mindfulness is not about being peaceful, relaxed, and calm. So if you're not those things, that's not a problem at all.
Right. Yeah. And being able to become aware of where you're at and what you're doing, and I know that when you have anxiety attacks, that's one of the things that's really, really hard is to, be mindful of what's really going on in the room, the sounds, the being able to really be able to remove all of the anxiety and the stress and all that stuff, and just be one, just understand where you are and what you're doing.
Okay, and I would go a step farther, and the book goes into this quite a lot, that with anxiety and stress, when we're trying to get rid of it, or when we're trying to make it go away, we're actually feeding the fire.
Yep.
So this approach is really about going in the opposite direction, which is going towards it and being open to it, and actually making a relationship with it. So once we make a relationship with it, then it's like having our feet on the ground, and we're actually dealing with something that's here, but if we don't have a relationship with it, then everything that's going on in our head is leading us places, which can be very distressing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Will you go deeper into that? what you mean by that?
Okay. Because this is really the crux of this approach, the mindfulness and awareness approach. And all mindfulness people talk about the non-judgmental awareness. We're cultivating a way of being non-judgmental, okay, through the practice. And this is essential in terms of what we're talking about, because normally we are making snap judgments all the time. We have an experience, there's a person that walks in the room, and unconsciously we're already deciding whether we like them or not, based on who knows what. But we have these automatic processes that are going on. And so automatically we are taking a certain position in relation to whatever it is, which is very different from relating to it as it is, free of bias and judgment, right? So the more that we can develop this non-judgmental approach, then the more we can actually relate to whatever it is that's coming up. It could be any emotion, for example. It could be anxiety. It could be disappointment. It could be grief. That we have this automatic response to the emotions that we particularly see as negative, and anxiety is one of them, that we are going to try to get away from it, that we see it as bad, harmful to us, and so we're going to protect ourselves by getting away from it. And that is a problem. That's fundamentally a problem. With mindfulness approach, where this happens over a period of time, nothing is immediate, but that we become more able to be with whatever the feeling or emotion is. Let's say it's anxiety, that we're able to be with it. We don't have an agenda of moving away from it anymore. So we can actually just be here, experience it as it is. And also, we want to have a panoramic awareness, so that this thing that we're calling anxiety isn't completely taking us over, right? There's also, like you mentioned, the environment. There's other things that are happening. So we're more able to keep it in perspective, and then it's not what I call the monster under the bed, something that we're just fearing because we never let ourselves actually touch it.
Yeah.
Well, and the reason we don't touch it is fear.
Yeah.
That's the truth, is the fear of being, we live a life of many masks. We live in a society where we are told to hide our true selves, where we don't belong if we don't do things in a certain way or have a certain amount of money or be a certain thing. And so it can be scary to come to truth with ourselves and really look at our flaws, or look at where we got these ways of thinking or these belief systems that were implanted on us and in us, not necessarily one of our own making.
And Andrew, I was thinking about it, and when we're talking about not only mindfulness, but when you get angry at people or something like that, and you might feel like you're gonna, just explode at them or whatever it is. If you're taking a moment just to realize that you're feeling that way, and I think that's what you were talking about. And I wanted to say too is that I'm really encouraged that you could help us do a little bit mindful today, and also. I learned this stuff from dialectical behavior therapy, which I took for 3 years, which was great for me. And the reason being is because I have borderline personality. But I say I don't have now. I had, but but that's how I could identify so much with what you're talking about. So I want to. So do we want to go right into it, into mindful meditation?
Sure, if you like. Okay.
Yep.
So we're going to do a practice together we call breath awareness meditation. So wherever you're sitting, like right now, is fine. And I'm assuming your feet are on the floor. Are they on the floor? Yes? Okay. Good. Actually, some people are short and their feet don't quite reach the floor, in which case we want them to put something there so they can put their feet on that so they have the sense of contact. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to have our feet on the floor. And the only difference now is that we're going to bring our attention down there to our feet in contact with the floor. So we're just paying attention to that. We're not trying to do anything or describe it, just bringing our attention there for a moment. And now we're going to bring our attention up to our seat in the chair. Same type of thing, the contact and also the weight, sense of gravity. And now we want to have an upright spine. So it doesn't mean to be rigid, but normally we tend to hunch and, droop over. So we want to pick ourselves up that way. And one thing is, if we have our head that's coming up and it's all the way over our shoulders, that helps give us the structure and posture. Just let our shoulders drop, let them relax. And we're going to have the eyes open, which is going to be different for some people, including, it looks like Linda. Lots of people are used to doing meditation with their eyes closed.
Yeah, I am.
We're going to have them open. Yeah. So we're just going to have them open, and we're looking straight ahead. No big deal, just looking straight out. And then we're going to let our eyes drop maybe 30%. Okay, we're not going to move our head. We're just going to let our eyes go down to the lower visual field. So it's going to be, it's not going all the way down to the floor, but it's just a bit up from that level. And between 4 and 6 feet in front of us, the eyes are going to rest. And the main difference with this is, normally when we have our eyes open and there's something in front of us, we look at it, we stare at it, we focus on it. Okay, so this is a different kind of looking. We're more interested in having what we call a panoramic awareness, which is a sense of the whole space, of the whole room, and not of any one particular thing. So we call this a soft gaze. It's a restful way to have our eyes when they're open. We're not placing any demand on them, about anything. Soft gaze. Now we're going to bring our attention to our normal breathing. So we're not changing our breathing. And our attention is here with our breathing, and we're going to go along with it. Just the natural movement of the breath, going out, going in. It's almost like going with a wave. Wave goes out, wave comes in. And when we notice that we've wandered off, we're now thinking about what we're going to do later on. We're thinking about our friend who's in trouble, thinking about our partner, conversation we were having. There's any number of millions of possible things that we could be thinking about here. They're fine. There's no problem with having thoughts. But when we notice that's what's happening. We just simply bring our attention back to our breathing. You can say, escort our attention back to the breath. And we have this same good posture. And we're letting ourselves go with the movement of the breath. And just like before, when we notice that we've wandered, we just simply bring our attention back to our breathing.
Wow. That's powerful.
Okay, yeah.
Wow. Ooh, I feel good.
Okay.
Needed that. I needed that in the middle of the show. Who would have known that?
Yeah, it was kind of neat, especially when you were talking about the pyramid going this way, and I could see all that.
Yeah.
And then the breath, I think, was the best part for me, I think, was being able to be aware of the breath. You know, and I found myself, even though I had some tension, when I brought the thought down to the breath, every time I did, it just released my shoulders. Like that, you know. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
And what a difference that makes in one's life when you realize that you have that opportunity, that tool is close to you, that it's not something that you have to be any place special or attend a class or listen to a YouTube. This is something that you can do a few minutes and it can completely transform your day or a moment. You could use this many times in your day. Tell us, Andrew, a little bit about this practice and how you've seen people transform.
Before
okay.
I was going to say before we do, because we're down to like the last 5 minutes. So if we could kind of already, can you imagine? I can't believe it. So I know it was just like, but Jeff, this is so important to me to be able to help others with what you do in your book and everything else. But I want you to go ahead and tell us a little bit about the people that you have helped and how people can get a hold of you.
Okay. Well, I've been presenting workshops for the last 8 years on mindfulness, different aspects. There's a series called Navigating Anxiety and Stress Through Mindfulness that I presented. It's an 8-week series, presented 15 times, so 15 different groups. And I've seen some pretty remarkable changes, transformations with people. These longer multi-week groups is where you can really see some evolution and familiarization with the practice.
Yep.
So I'll just think of a couple of examples. For example, I'm thinking about one woman who she was suffering from PTSD. She witnessed the death of a number of family members in a car accident. Mm-hmm. And she, this path, it's not easy. So in the beginning, it could be resistance and difficulty. So I want to make sure I'm clear about that. But again, when there's a multi-week program, there's a chance people can work through that and sort of start to settle with the practice. And I think for her, it's the simplicity of it that really made a difference. Our lives tend to be very chaotic, very hectic, very complicated, and becomes harder and harder to manage all of these different variables. So if we can do something that we haven't experienced that is actually simple, like you saw how simple that is, right?
Yeah.
You're actually doing it regularly, then you sort of can have a chance to experience that simplicity, which can be profound. So in her case, yeah.
So it takes a little bit of practice. It's like anything else. You got to practice. But thank you so much for that, Andrew. And I can't wait to fully read your book and find out more about your work and what you do. And so, do you have those classes? How do you do those classes? Do you do them through internet, or how do you do them?
Yeah, actually, they were in person until this past year. I started using Zoom video conferencing. Mm-hmm. We had 3 people in different states in the U.S., and we had a few people here in Newfoundland. It's kind of neat. So I will be offering that again in the fall, that particular one. If people are interested, my website it's Safer Mindfulness. So my safer is just like, safer as opposed to dangerous. Safermindfulness.com. So that's the best way to get a hold of me and see what's happening.
Right. Yep. And then obviously your book, that's available too, so people can look that up or find it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
let me just say about the book.
Sure.
Amazon and Barnes & Noble are the places online that have it. Bookstores are like, it could be ordered through the Ingram catalog, but as far as I know, it's not like out there in a million bookstores at this point, but yeah.
Give it time, it will be. I think you have a great message. So, and I want to say thank you so much, Andrew, because as soon as I saw what your book was about, I'm like, I said so many people suffer from this, including myself, even though I found a way to find recovery. So I would encourage everybody to look for the book and check you out too. But anyway, Mary is going to say the final goodbye, so I just want to say goodbye to the audience there. Take some time, really realize what you really need instead of just what you want, and sometimes by understanding the difference, especially when it comes to anxiety and stress and all of that, and not being able to move beyond it. This is one of the tools that I believe that Andrew Books could help us with. So anyway, this is Linda Carbonell, and I'm saying goodbye for right now. And I'm going to turn it over to Mary to say goodbye for the rest of us. And thank you again, Andrew.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I want to also give a big thank you to Second Tier Publishing, which is a self-publishing house that I send all of my clients to. I absolutely love them. I love their work. This book is absolutely beautiful. And so Second Tier Publishing produced this. And Andrew, I can't thank you enough for this book. And it's such a, it's the thinness of the book, but it's quite a read. It's a very deep read, and there's a lot of knowledge and information. And for me as a practitioner, I am very, very grateful to have this in my hands. I know that this is going to become something in my library that I pick up regularly, and I also refer to clients. And I hope that you will come back to our show. We would love to have you, because it was not enough time.
No, we didn't get into a lot.
No, we didn't. And that's okay. And I want to thank everybody out there for watching. Thank you for being a part of Life School 101 TV. This show is about you and topics and conversations that open your mind and change your life. And you can find out more about us at lifeschool101.tv. And we will see you next time. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Linda. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you.
My little girl, well, she means everything to me. She can lift me up, take me down. She can see inside of me, and I'm all rolled up inside her little arms tonight. There's no other place.